Greetings, every peoples. Welcome to the Haymakers, and we are going to do something a little different this time. We are going to be doing a small little series of mini podcasts where we discuss topics and stuff. First off, before we get started, if you have a topic that you want us to go talk about, put it in the comments right about now, and we'll look them over later. But today, first off, who do I have with me?
Nicky VMLP!
DJ Calcos!
According to the comments, you said all three of us seem to work together as, a cohesive unit, so I figured, yeah, let's go with this. And today we are talking about WWE Rivalries. Best of the best. Each episode, we're going to talk about three. One from me, one from Nicky V, and one from Calcos. So, Nicky, let's start off with the first rivalry. What do you got for us?
Before we go to the first rivalry, I just have to mention right off the bat, let's get the worst of the worst settled. Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Done. Nicky, go ahead.
Really, I don't think you can name a Brock Lesnar rivalry that you would find on this list of the best of. Because, Bork.
Bork laser crush tiny green man.
Speaking of green, one of my favorite rivalries from back in the day, it was one of those rivalries where two people who didn't like a certain head of the WWE joined forces, which is something you don't really see that often. DX versus the McMahons and the Spirit Squad and all of those guys. That shit was the most hilarious. That was some of the funniest stuff that the WWE has ever put out.
It was so good, it got a whole DVD for itself.
The Spirit Squad. Why?
The only thing that they produced was Dolph Ziggler.
I don't know.
Kenny Dykstra, which didn't go anywhere.
The only thing that it produced was Dolph Ziggler.
I'm Dolph Ziggler. Oh my god. And the thing is, what's funny about this whole feud is that it took a long time for it to get started, and there was no reason to, because they're DX. They're the corporate team, the McMahons. This feud should have happened the instant DX started. And while hints of it were there, DX kind of focused more on Nation of Domination and just being jackasses the whole time. But eventually, over time, finally, DX got their targets in McMahon. They worked their way up the ladder, so to speak.
That DVD that you were talking about, that box set, the best of the DX,
new and improved DX.
Yeah, the new and improved DX. That was actually the very first WWE DVD that I ever, the first ever box set that I ever got, because I had a little brother who was really big into wrestling alongside me when I got back into it, and that's basically what helped reel me back in and get me interested in the WWE again. Just watching Shawn Michaels super kick Stan. See, I just kicked Stan.
Yeah, I remember that.
I actually only just recently watched that for the first time, because I didn't know about it, and I read it on r/squared circle. And oh my god, that is the funniest shit I've seen in such a long time. What's your name? Stan. Stan. Oh, that was so good. That's just the epitome of funny. It just comes out of nowhere.
Was Stan ever did he ever turn into somebody that we don't know about? Was he secretly Cesaro or something?
The Squared Circle community thinks that their popular user Mets Fan Forever, who used to work for the WWE and now spills out inside information, he thinks that he's Stan. They think that Mets Fan Forever is Stan.
Makes sense.
It's also a running joke in that community that basically every staff member that talks to the subreddit is Stan, and that Ryback is a 4-time world champion.
Oh, only in TNA. Anyway.
Oh.
So how did this feud start? Okay, from what I remember at least, the whole feud started with I think Shawn Michaels having to go up against Mr. McMahon for whatever reason. Why did they? I kind of don't remember. I don't remember how the feud started, but I remember Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 22. And then Shawn did like the DX thing. Then later on in the night with Triple H and Cena, Triple H did the DX thing. And then it was just a matter of time before DX reunited and the McMahons were getting the crap. Not the crap, that's for later. They were kicking the crap out of Shawn, and then they used Triple H. All this other stuff happened, and then Triple H got hit together with Shawn Michaels. All this fan fiction started happening, and then finally DX comes back together.
Yeah, and this was around the same time that Stephanie was giving birth to her and Triple H's first child, and that ended up becoming like one of the major storylines. It's like there was one Triple H in the delivery room at the time of the birth, and then I think they were showing quote unquote baby pictures of it, and it was just this baby with Triple H's head superimposed on it. Triple H is like, that's one damn good looking baby.
Speaking of that, I think the one moment that I think right near the beginning, I think which finally started kickstarting the feud was when DX impersonated the McMahons.
Oh,
that shit was funny. And then we all know about the holy shit moment.
Are you talking about the moment when they were like, we have 2 words for you, and everybody was like, suck it, and it was like, no, look up, and then just mountains of, I don't even want to.
It was
guess.
No, that was actually with the slime and stuff. No, what it was like, no, I think it was Vince came out like after the segment. He's just like, all right, we're gonna beat the crap out of you, and then a porta potty comes down from the rafters, and Vince is like, what the hell is this? Oh, it's just because, well, you're full of crap. And just because it's Shawn, it is holy shit.
Oh, man.
And it just steamrolled from there with the Spirit Squad and then Big Show and all this other stuff. But really, what do we think of this feud overall?
The thing that I remember most about it is eventually the McMahons kicking the crap out of Shawn Michaels and Triple H and then demanding that they get a Hell in a Cell match. And the best moment, of course, from that Hell in a Cell is something that I cannot believe they did. That was Triple H and Shawn Michaels shoving Vince's face into Big Show's ass.
Yes.
Like, that's disgusting. And it happened. That was just something that you don't see ever.
Oh, WWE, back when you weren't just trying to appease the kiddos.
Back in 2006, where they didn't give a shit.
It was a simpler time.
Yeah.
Time. Anyway.
It was a lot of fun, I think. Overall, for me at least, this feud, I'm glad that it brought DX back together for a short while. It worked out really good because people started like watching it again.
I started watching it again.
Yeah, I started watching it too.
And then DX got completely back together in 2009 and all was right in the world.
Yes. And then they finally won the tag titles. Hallelujah.
Wait, they never won the tag titles in their original scene?
No, they totally did, because every single DX member had a championship at one point in 1999. Billy Gunn and Road Dogg had the tag team. Chyna had the Intercontinental. X-Pac had, what did
European?
X-Pac have? I think X-Pac had European or Hardcore or something. He had something, and Triple H had the WWE Championship. I'm gonna have to look it up to see exactly what X-Pac had, because I know all 5 members had a belt. I just don't remember what X-Pac had.
But it was just that Triple H and Shawn Michaels had never won the tag team titles together.
No, but I don't think they were ever in tag team matches, were they?
They were, actually. Later on, when they went up against Jericho, they finally got the tag titles.
Jericho.
You gotta admit, Jericho was pretty cool.
Well, the thing about DX is that they wanted to separate themselves from the NWO, because the NWO was a gang. They were thugs. They went and beat the crap out of everybody because they were trying to destroy the WCW, whereas DX we're young guns and we want to have a good time. So while NWO was beating everybody up, DX was constantly getting their asses kicked in and out of the ring all the time. They weren't a dominant force as far as competitive things go within the WWE until Shawn Michaels left and Triple H recruited everybody else.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah, the feud was very interesting. It was a long time coming, and I'm glad that it actually happened.
It's one of the funniest feuds I think we've ever gotten that people still remember and people still talk about.
Like, a lot of the more comedic rivalries really don't get remembered that well because, like, it seems like most of the more famous ones are ones that were built out of, like, one guy legitimately hates the other guy. But, like, that means that a lot of the more humorous feuds kind of just get forgotten about because they're just assumed to be, like, comic relief.
Yeah. Speaking of feuds that, had two people aggressively hating one another, okay, this feud that we got coming up here is one of my all-time favorites. It is a feud where it's simply developed out of jealousy. It's simply developed over the fact that one person couldn't beat the other, and it got so bad that it had a child involved into it. I am, of course, referring to Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio.
This was one of the last feuds I watched before I got out of wrestling. Of course, now I'm back in, but I got out of wrestling soon after this feud ended, and my 14-year-old mind couldn't take it. I was just, oh my god, man, this... Okay, Zach, go. Just explain what happened.
I'll explain it real quick. Okay, so this whole feud was built on, I believe, Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. They won the tag team titles together, and it was really cool. Before then, they had a lot of matches together, and contrary to popular belief, Eddie has beaten Rey at some points. They acted like Eddie's never beaten him, but if you look back, he kind of has, so that kind of makes the feud a little bit wonky, but whatever. Casual fans don't know that. The whole feud really finally started when at WrestleMania 21, Eddie and Rey didn't have a tag team title match, so they decided, hey, let's go up against each other. And they did. And Rey won. And a really good match, I might add. WrestleMania 21, it was a great WrestleMania overall. So from then, Eddie just decided, hey, that's cool, but let's try this again. And he kept losing and losing and losing. And then finally, when Eminem showed up, yeah, you guys remember Eminem.
Yeah,
I remember Eminem.
Nitro, Mercury. Yeah, when they came, and from whatever reason, Rey kind of screwed up and accidentally hit Eddie. Eddie just decided, you know what, screw you. He left. He betrayed Rey, and he built it all up on the fact that he couldn't beat Rey. He slowly started to go mental. This is one of the feuds that was blurring the line between, reality and, like, what was going on in the ring. Because here's the thing, the Dominic, Rey's son, they were building up a great soap opera drama because, from what I remember, Eddie just kept going, like, darker and darker, and he decided, if I can't beat you, I'm just going to take something away from you so I will win. I always win in the end, that sort of thing. And he said, like, he had this match with Rey at the Bash, and he said, if I win, I will reveal your deep, dark secret. And Rey won just by a pinch. And I still love this moment. Eddie is just like, Dominic, Rey is not your father. I'm your real father.
And then he opens up Eddie, Storytime with Eddie, Volume 1.
This was so surreal because I've seen Eddie as a heel and he's just a jackass, but this was like dark, twisted, supervillain kind of evil.
Might as well have just had like a big twirly mustache and going.
Yeah. It all culminated finally in the end with a ladder match at SummerSlam for the custody of Dominic. It is one of my all-time favorite ladder matches, and it was one of the last feuds that Eddie did before he died.
Yeah, it did. The whole feud is marred by, I believe the whole thing was real in the fact that it was found out that Dominic was Eddie's son and not Rey's. I'm not entirely certain, albeit it was probably not nearly as dramatized as it is now, but Dominic's not an illegitimate child. It was more just the fact that Rey had a child that was Eddie's, and they decided this is a good idea for a feud. And this is why I don't understand people that say that turning Eddie into a catalyst for Rey Mysterio's rise and feud with Randy Orton is bad, because Eddie Guerrero was all for real-life situations coming into the ring. He was all for that. So I'll never understand people that say that.
People love the hell out of this feud. I've talked to like a lot of my wrestling fans. They love this feud. it, like I said, it's pushed what was exactly real and what wasn't, because we knew about, like, Ray has a son, but do we really know everything? And we probably won't ever know to this day. But just, I think not just the story of this was great, but the wrestling that these guys did. There were so many great matches between these two, and they have great chemistry all together. If you can just watch one of their matches from WCW, and it's amazing. But when you put like this story behind it, it becomes like a lot more intense and a lot more memorable. So for me, this is a great feud, I think, that also came out around the same time, I think, is no, actually, this was a year before DX and McMahon's happened. So this is a good example of storytelling I don't think we're going to be able to see in WWE again.
Yeah, like if they were to try and do something like that today, it would just turn out like I guess that this is just an indication of where the WWE is today, but this is kind of like what would happen, or the Bellas is a good example of how that this feud would probably have turned out if they were to try it today, because like it would just have their families come in and they'd get all snippy at each other. Me. It's just like,
Nikki, you know what's funny though? They did actually try this later on with Hornswoggle and Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah,
you friggin' remember when they tried to do that?
That was hilarious. And then afterwards they were like, "Oh, Triple H, or no, Vince isn't actually your father. It's Finley." And like, and the best part about that part is like when they were revealing who the father was. At first, they were making it seem like Triple H was Vince's son.
No, they were trying to do it with Mr. Kennedy.
Well, no. Like right before they revealed it was Hornswoggle, they got all the superstars in the arena or in the ring, and the guy who told Vince who the son was like eliminating people gradually, and eventually the last person in the ring with Vince McMahon was Triple H, and they looked at each other with a look like, "Oh no!" It was the funniest shit. But then afterwards, they said, "Oh no, it's not Triple H. It's actually Hornswoggle." And he appeared out from under the ring with the cruiserweight title and just started hugging his leg. And it was just like, "Wow!"
Don't ever mention Hornswoggle and cruiserweight title again. It hurts still.
Like, this is the dumbest shit.
Oh my god.
That's enough about my feud, though.
Oh boy, my feud is one that I knew about vaguely, but I only just started doing research and watching and following for a while, and I never really realized just how important this feud was, because there were so many different outcomes that could have happened. You had no idea whether the whole situation was real, if it was fake, if it was a little bit of both. You really didn't know. And that feud, of course, is CM Punk versus John Cena.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so flashback to summer of 2011. I believe it was Cena and R-Truth are having a table match. CM Punk interferes, which leaves Cena to get driven into the corner post through a table. Then CM Punk sits cross-legged and does the best worked shoot promotion ever. Ever. It is the promo that is the reason why we call worked shoots pipe bombs now, where he laid everything on the table. And it was very clear that while he was cleared to go up there and say what he wanted, which has become a lot more common now thanks to the Attitude Era, it's not very clear whether he was cleared to say everything that he did. So, like, for example, I think this company will be better off when Vince McMahon's dead. Like, that is definitely something that he went to the back room and apologized for. Because that right there is just something crazy. But that pipe bomb right there led to the feud between CM Punk and John Cena, where 3 weeks from then would be Money in the Bank 2011.
I was there for that. That was in Chicago.
Oh, Jesus, dude. I'm so jealous.
I know. Just having that hometown reaction was insane.
Yeah. The whole situation was that CM Punk was going to leave the WWE after he won the title. Because after he won the title, that night, his contract would be up. And it's wrestling tradition that and it's one that will never be broken, mind you, that the person with the champion can leave with it. as long as he's not breaking contract. He can take it and bring it anywhere. Like CM Punk said in his Pipe Bomb promo, he said, I can bring this to New Japan Pro Wrestling, maybe I'll go back to Ring of Honor. And he absolutely could have done that, because his contract really was expiring. And
he could have gone to TNA if he wanted to.
He could have gone to TNA if he wanted to. And like I said, his contract really was expiring, so the WWE was taking a very huge risk with this whole thing. McMahon said if Cena doesn't win, he's fired. The whole thing was tense. At Money in the Bank, that was the big main event, and the promo that they shot for it was absolutely amazing. The promo was great. The promo. That's another thing. The promo for CM Punk versus John Cena Money in the Bank 2011 is, hands down, the greatest promo that has ever been shot, edited, and run through Adobe After Effects. Mark my fucking words. It is the most beautiful promo ever. But I digress. Zach, talk about your reaction during the match.
Okay. I had the honor of being in like the cheap seats of Money in the Bank 2011. I don't remember a lot of the pay-per-view, but what I do remember is the main event and having that reaction when, Punk's music hit. I swear I could have gone deaf just from being there. The match itself was really great. It's probably one of the best Punk matches. It's probably one of the best Cena matches too. And to see Punk win, oh my God. Everybody was like, it looked like they were about to celebrate like the second coming of Christ or whatever. They were overjoyed. I was overjoyed. And seeing like Punk run into the audience, just like, guess what? I got the title. Bye-bye. We didn't think it would happen because we were just like, oh, it's Super Cena. Cena's gonna win. Rah, 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 rah. And then Punk wins cleanly, or is at least as cleanly as we can get. Punk beats Cena. That for me was a real honor to see.
Like, I was tentatively into wrestling at that time. Like, this was that weird era between like WrestleMania 26 and 29 where I was sort of kind of into wrestling. So I only caught this on the fringes of the rivalry, but when I heard about what like the stakes of it, I just immediately thought, oh, they're not actually gonna let the WWE champion walk. I mean, it's the WWE champion. He's going up against John Cena. I mean, there's no way that they can actually tell me that Punk is going to walk away with the W, and he does, and then he freaking does.
And then he takes this picture of like the WWE Championship in his fridge, and I'm like, oh my God. But then, of course, what happened later on when he just mysteriously vanished, then that, of course, comes into the SummerSlam match. Oh my gosh.
Oh, good. Holy crap.
But first, I just want to quickly say, him coming back with Cult of Personality was so cool.
Oh yeah, it was the best theme song that they could have picked for him, because he was in the WWE since 2006 roughly, and he had that same generic metal theme throughout the whole time, and then he comes back with this great new theme song that says everything you need to know about CM Punk.
And then I just took the nickname for myself, and apparently Calcos chastises me for using it. I can't even introduce myself as Cult of Personality. I was afraid to in this recording because I thought he was going to jump on me.
It's dumb. It is such a bad pony pun. Come on. Ugh.
I like pony puns. Like, I made my career, or my pony dumb career for like 2 years based on that shit.
Come on. Can it be any stupider than what Nicky V did Meanwhile too with the Macho Man rap? Come on. Can it be
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You're right. You're the Cult of Personality. Holy shit.
Thank you.
Yay, my thing was the dumbest. And I don't even care, and I have no regrets.
Anyway, the SummerSlam match was intense. It was just as intense as Money in the Bank. The stakes were just as high. And then Punk wins again.
Yeah.
Everybody was like legitimately shocked because they're just like, okay, I guess this just means Super Cena can't beat Punk.
Yeah, and then it started the longest championship reign of the last 2.5 decades.
No, wait, actually, that happened later on with Del Rio at Survivor Series. Yeah, I remember that. I remember Del Rio cashed in on SummerSlam, and then they had this really stupid. Yeah, I remember Del Rio cashed in, I think, at that pay-per-view, and he stole the championship. They started trading it with Cena and such, and then at Survivor Series, Punk beat Del Rio. He made him tap out, and then his 434 day.
No, because that's not 434 days. That would have been roughly. Actually, no. Is it?
Yeah, it was.
No. I'm trying to do a little bit of math in my head.
That would have meant that it would have ran out probably around Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber.
No, you're right. If it started with Money in the Bank, then the championship reign would have been over 500 days. You're right. You're 100% right. Okay. So yeah, 434. Yeah, so that's what started the longest championship reign of the last 2.5 decades. Like we have not seen a reign like that since Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it was riding great for Punk. He had everything. He had the girlfriend. He had the WWE Championship. He had everything, and then 2 words: The Rock. And then Rock, then WrestleMania, then mid card, then Royal Rumble, and bye.
Yeah. Which sucks, because they had big plans for CM Punk, but he would not have any of it. However, here's the thing. There was a Mets Fan Forever AMA that was posted, and people kept asking what plans were for D-Bry originally before CM Punk left. CM Punk was slated to have the main event where he would win the championship back from I believe it was Triple H was going to have the championship at the time.
What?
And what happened is Punk left, and Daniel Bryan was put into the main event because they realized at Royal Rumble just how over Daniel Bryan was. And here's the thing, though. Daniel Bryan was going to have a match with Sheamus originally.
Didn't he already have a match against Sheamus at one point?
Yeah. And we all know how well that went.
Yeah, he was going to have another one at WrestleMania 30. The whole card, because of CM Punk's departure at WrestleMania 30, was completely different, with the exception of Brock Lesnar going up against Undertaker. That was always in the card, but everything else had to be rearranged because CM Punk left. And Daniel Bryan became the face of the company for a little while because of it. And when he returns, he will be the face of the company again.
But anyway, we're getting off topic. Let's get back to Cena versus Punk.
Cena versus Punk. It was great. I think we've talked about this for long enough because there's not much else to talk about. If there's one more thing I can add, it's that it's probably the most important rivalry ever. Minus Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. It's probably the most important in their business.
This rivalry basically changed so many things. Especially with like what with Punk did. This was Punk's huge chance, and he rolled with it for as long as he could.
Yeah, until he finally just said, "Fuck the McMahons. I can't working with you people anymore."
I think though that if he was going to leave, at least he had that 434-day reign. That was his crowning achievement. At least he had a crowning achievement before he left.
Yeah, unfortunately now he's trying to scrub his name from WWE history, like he's trying to make it so that he never existed with the company. So
Hall of Fame? No, not happening. Not for at least another 5 to 10 years. Because here's the thing: if Bret Hart can make a Hall of Fame appearance and make up with McMahon, and if McMahon can make up with Bret Hart, then CM Punk can do the same, and he probably will.
Yeah, same for like Bruno Sammartino. Like for years and years, he said, "I will never go into the WWE Hall of Fame."
What was it? Just this year?
Just this year, Sammartino went in.
Yep.
And wasn't he the guy who like held it for like 5 years?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't hold it for 5 years. He held it for 12.
12? Really?
He held that shit for a long time in the 60s and 70s. He held that shit for over a decade. I think it was like 2,200 days.
God damn.
Could you imagine if like Punk did that?
Actually, no. My math is wrong again. 2,200 days is roughly 6 years. But you're right. It was a huge reign. Even Hulk Hogan didn't beat it. Hulk Hogan lost it to who the hell did he lose it to? It wasn't Warrior at that point. But
Undertaker?
It wasn't. No. Hulk Hogan wasn't really in the WWE around the time of Undertaker.
No, yeah, he was.
He was, but not really. Like, he was kind of he was
Taker
being
beat him,
pushed,
though.
but people didn't really care about him. But I digress. CM Punk's championship reign is legendary and will be remembered, especially since now the championship likes to play hot potato.
Who knows, though? With how the championship is going now, we may never know. But anyways, thank you guys for being here with us. This is, I think, wow, we went on longer than I think we expected. I thought this was going to take like 15 minutes, but we had really a lot to say about these rivalries.
Specifically about the last one.
Yeah. So, put down in the comments topics you would like for us to discuss, or rivalries you would like for us to discuss. This will probably be a recurring sort of theme because there's a lot of rivalries to talk about. So, on behalf of all of us, thank you guys for being here, and we shall see you guys later.